वीर्यानि लीलातनुभिकृतानि यदाति हर्षोत्पुलकाश्रुगद्गदम् प्रोत्कण्ठ उद्गायति रौति नृत्यति. Thank you, Hari Bol. Anybody from Mataji's? Nishamya karmani gunana tulyan Viryani leelatanubhikratani Yadati harshotpulakashrugadgadam Protkanta udgayati rauti nrityati. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. One who is situated in devotional service is certainly the controller of his senses, and thus he is a liberated person. When such a liberated person, the pure devotee, hears of the transcendental qualities and activities of the Lord's incarnations for the performance of various pastimes, his hair stands on end on his body, tears fall from his eyes, and in his spiritual realization, his voice falters. Sometimes he very openly dances, sometimes he sings loudly, and sometimes he cries. Thus, he expresses his transcendental jubilation. The purport is very short and sweet, so we'll read the purport as well. The Lord's activities are uncommon. For example, when he appeared as Lord Ramachandra, he performed uncommon activities like bridging the ocean. Similarly, when Lord Krishna appeared, he raised the Govardhan hill when he was only 7 years of age. These are uncommon activities. Fools and rascals who are not in the transcendental position consider these uncommon activities of the Lord to be mythological. But when the pure devotee, the liberated person, hears about these uncommon activities of the Lord, he immediately becomes ecstatic and exhibits the symptoms of chanting, dancing, and crying very loudly and jubilantly. This is the difference between a devotee and non-devotee. So we'll offer our Mangalacharan prayers and then we'll... Okay. So there's Kannada translation happening behind by His Grace Raghavendra Prabhu. So we can, if anybody needs Kannada translation, we can go behind on the right side. Okay. Okay. We'll offer our Mangalacharan prayers and then we'll get started. So please chant along with me. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Darati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swaminitramne Nama Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Padayane Gaura Katha Damdaya Nagaram Tanya. So, yeah, Hare Krishna everybody. Welcome to our Sunday Bhagavatam class. Firstly, I'd like to express my gratitude to all of you for being here and for giving me this opportunity to serve all of you through Bhagavatam. And every day, day after day, I keep getting this realization. It keeps hitting me how merciful the Lord is, how merciful Guru and all the Vaishnavas like yourself are. Because you keep overlooking all the anarthas, all the oceans of faults and shortcomings and all of that. And I keep getting opportunities to serve every, breath of my life. I keep getting these opportunities. It's a different thing that I don't do justice to them. I don't take them wholeheartedly, but still I keep getting these opportunities. So that shows how Vaishnavas are Saragrahis. So even today, this verse is a very lofty verse. It describes the symptoms of pure devotees. And I'm no way qualified theoretically or practically to talk about this. And materially, spiritually, I have no experience or qualification as well. So I'll sincerely beg all of your prayers and blessings to please bless me and empower me so that I can speak a few words and serve all of you offenselessly. Okay? Mancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Great. So, this verse, right, this is being spoken by Prahlad Maharaj. And the context is, in the this is from 7th canto, 7th chapter. In the 7th canto, 5th chapter, Prahlad Maharaj comes back from the Gurukul and Hiranyakashipu asks him, what did you learn? And Prahlad Maharaj starts preaching him about the glories of bhakti, devotion towards Lord Vishnu. And that chapter, 5th chapter, talks about how Prahlad Maharaj is the reservoir of all good qualities. Right? Everything, all good qualities rests in him. And how he tries to preach Krishna consciousness to his father, demoniac father, who rejects it fully. Then he, Hiranyakashipu gets angry, tries to hurt Prahlad Maharaj, but thinks he's just a 5-year-old boy. Maybe we can make him right. Maybe we can punish him. We can discipline him and he'll become okay again. So he sends him to the school again and he tells his teachers, Shanda and Amaraka, the sons of Shukracharya, that you keep a closer eye on Prahlad. Ensure no devotees come and preach to Prahlad, right? Because devotees are very, very dangerous. Devotees are like Vamanadev. Vamanadev came to Bali Maharaj, he said, I just want 3 steps, and took away everything from Bali Maharaj. Devotees are like that. They'll come, they'll just say, just chant 1 round, just 7 minutes of your time. That is all we want, nothing else, right? But slowly they come and they steal away all our taste for material life and material sense gratification, right? So, Shanda and Namaraka were given clear instructions, protect Prahlad Maharaj. Don't allow him to go near devotees, right? So they kept a closer watch. But I'm sure we all experienced as students that when there is a break between 2 periods, when the teacher, one teacher goes and before the next teacher comes, there's a short break. And in that break, the children go wild, right? It's like their caged animals are let loose. They start shouting, they start making noise, mischief and all that. So that was happening. But Prahlad Maharaj stopped them and he said, you're not supposed to do this. You're supposed to do Bhagavad Dharma. This is the 6th chapter of 7th canto, where Prahlad Maharaj starts instructing his classmates and he begins by saying, Kaumaram acharet pragyo dharman bhagavataniha durlabam manusham janma tad api adruvam artadam. The classmates, they say, oh Prahlad, we are so young. Why do all this? Why think about this now? Let's enjoy this free time. We can think about it later. But Prahlad Maharaj says, no, this Bhagavad Dharma has to be practiced from the very young age. It has to be started right away. It cannot wait. And in this way, we can add meaning and purpose to our human form of life, right? So, Prahlad Maharaj gives a lot of teachings. He mentions how we have 100 years of our life. 50 years goes in sleep, half the time, almost. Next 10 years goes in the ignorance of childhood, innocent ignorance of childhood, where we don't know what things are. The next 10 years goes in youth, right? Material desires, attraction towards opposite sex, next 10 years is gone. The last 20 years of life is invalid because of old age. Most of us don't live long enough for 80 to 100, right? But even if they live, they are useless. They can't do much. The body doesn't support, right? So how much is left? Out of 100, 50 for sleep, 10 for childhood, 10 for youth, 20 for old age. 90 is gone, 10 is left. And Prahlad Maharaj says that 10 years is the household life. And in that 10 years also, if somebody leads a life of sense gratification, being overly engaged in materialistic occupation, then the whole life is wasted, right? Prahlad Maharaj is not condemning Grahastha ashram, right? Grahastha ashram is glorious. And Bhagavatam has so many examples of Grahastha devotees who were glorious, right? Kardama Muni, Devahuti, Parikshit Maharaj, right? Dhruva Maharaj, Ambarish Maharaj, Bharat Maharaj, all of these pastimes are given, how they were Mahabhagavatas, but they were Grahasthas. So Grahastha is glorious. Prahlad Maharaj is talking about those Grahasthas who are actually Grahamedis. They are engrossed in their materialistic way of living, right? That is abominable. So this is explained by Shankaracharya as well in the Bhajagovinda Stotram. He says, Balyavastha krida saktah, tarunavastha taruni saktah, vriddhavastha chinta saktah, parabrahmani ko apina saktah. So he says, when we are young, Balya, we have asakti towards krida, to play, and our childhood is lost. Tarunavastha taruni saktah. When we grow up, we develop attraction towards opposite sex, and our time is gone. Vriddhavastha chinta saktah. When we become older, we keep getting worried, right? What did my son eat? What did my grandson eat? What did his neighbor eat? Our whole life goes in that. And Parabrahmani ko apina saktah. There is no time to inquire about the Supreme Lord. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. There is no time to do that. So Prahlad Maharaj gives these teachings. He talks about how happiness and distress come naturally in this material world. We don't have to do anything about it. Nobody stands in front of Giridhari and says, Giridhari, today you please bless me with sufferings. I want to suffer so much. Right? Nobody does that. Right? But still sufferings come in our life. Similarly, happiness will also come. So there's no point in over-endeavoring for it. So Prahlad Maharaj gives all of these teachings. Now we come to the 7th chapter of this canto, right? Which is titled, what Prahlad learned in the womb, right? Now we might have a question. We are talking about all these philosophy. How come the topic changed to what Prahlad Maharaj learned in the womb, right? This happens because the classmates ask a question to Prahlad Maharaj. They ask him, you are expecting us to do Bhagavad Dharma, to follow that. But what is this Dharma? And where did you learn it from? Who's your source for this knowledge? And Prahlad Maharaj says, I learned this Bhagavad Dharma from my guru, Narada Mahamuni. And the classmates are shocked. What? Narada Muni? When did you hear him? When did you meet him? You're just 5 years old. We have never seen you meet Narada Muni. How did this happen? And then Narada Muni explains how Hiranyakashipu had gone to the Mandarachala mountain to perform austerities to get mystic powers to fight Lord Vishnu. And at that moment, Indra and all the devatas, they attack the Rakshasas. And all the Rakshasas, they run away. And then Indra kidnaps Kayadu, the wife of Hiranyakashipu. And they are taking her to the heavenly planets, kidnapping her. But Narada Muni intervenes and says, the person in the soul in the womb of Kayadu is actually a Mahabhagavata. It is not a demon like you're fearing, so please let him go, right? Then all the Indra and all the Devatas, they offer obeisances to the womb of Kayadu because a Mahabhagavata is there, and they all go away. And Narada Muni takes Kayadu to his ashram. Until Hiranyakashipu comes back, Kayadu is in Narada Muni's ashram. Narada Muni keeps speaking Bhagavatam, right? And Kayadu sometimes goes off to sleep. Bhagavatam has that effect. But inside her womb, Prahlad Maharaj is very anxiously, constantly is hearing, right? Very attentively is hearing. And he heard all of these Bhagavad Dharma from Narada Muni when he was in his mother's womb, right? So then Prahlad Maharaj says, this is how I heard from Narada Muni. And then he starts speaking what all he heard. How the body is different from the soul. Body is temporary, soul is eternal. How do we identify the distinction? It is like when we stand in front of a mirror, every day in the morning before going to work or office, we stand and we decorate ourselves, right? But when we do alankar, when we decorate ourselves, imagine if we are just decorating the reflection in the mirror, right? That is useless. How much ever we decorate that, the moment we go away from the mirror, that decoration is no longer there. Similarly, if we spend all our life just decorating the body, taking care of the body, without realizing to take care of ourself, the true self, which will come with us lifetimes after lifetime, right? If we don't do that, then that is a waste, right? If we spend our entire life only taking care of body, that is not worthy. So Prahlad Maharaj gives these teachings. Then he comes to Bhakti. And then he says, Bhakti has two effects primarily. The secondary effect, the side effect of Bhakti, byproduct of Bhakti is, one's senses become controlled. One overcomes their anarthas. That is a byproduct. And what is the main goal of Bhakti? Main goal of Bhakti is to develop love for Govinda. Develop love and affection for the Lord. And devotees, pure devotees who have attained that love, they exhibit that love through certain symptoms. Right? In the next verse, Prahlad Maharaj says, such devotees, they laugh and they cry like ghosts without any reason. They have tears flowing their eyes. They have hair standing on the hand. They jump in ecstasy. They dance. They have no regard for social etiquette. They're completely absorbed in hearing the pastimes of the Lord, right? Hearing about the Lord. So he gives all these symptoms of pure devotees. So two effects we saw. What was the side effect, byproduct of bhakti? Sense control. And the main effect, Krishna Prema, right? Now, when we hear these descriptions, we might think, how is it relevant for me, right? Acharyas and Prahlad Maharaj, they keep saying, Bhakti is very sweet, Bhakti is very nice, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. But we don't experience this, right? We don't experience this when we chant. For example, Rupa Goswami, he says, Tunde Tandavini Ratim Vitanute Tundavali Labdhaye Karna Krodagatam Mini Gatayate Karnabhyudebhya Spraham Cheto Prangana Sangini Vijayate Sarvendriyanam Gatim No Jane Janita Kiyad Bhiramriter Krishneti Varnadvai. So he says, No Jane Janita Kiyad Bhiramriter. There is no limit, there is no understanding, no way we can perceive Kiyad Bir Amriter. How much Amrita is there in 2 syllables? Krishna, Krishneti Varnadvai. These 2 syllables are so much nectar, so much Amrita that we cannot perceive, right? How many of us feel that, right? The only time we get happiness when we chant, the only time we get happiness when we chant is when we finish our rounds, and that 16th Sakshi Mala when we drag, we get such relief. It's like we go into Samadhi. Oh my God, today I'm done with my rounds. I will hang it in a corner and not even look at it for the rest of the day, right? The only time we get taste or happiness in chanting is when we finish it. But here, Rupa Goswami is saying, no, Harinam is supposed to be taste, delicious, right? And here Prahlad Maharaj is saying, Bhakti is very sweet. Now, how do we understand this as sadhaka bhaktas who don't have this experience yet, right? It is like if somebody says, what is the definition of pure distilled water, right? Then this distilled water, the definition would be, it is tasteless, odorless, right? Colorless, it is free of contamination, no minerals added, no preservatives, nothing. So there's a long list which describes pure distilled water. Now, this pure distilled water, only 0.0001% of all the water in the world will be pure distilled water. Maybe in some science lab or somewhere, right? Most of the water everywhere in the world will not fit this definition of ideal pure distilled water, right? It will not fit there. Similarly, these descriptions that we hear in our Shastras from our Acharyas about pure bhakti, pure symptoms of pure devotees, that is very rare, right? It's very few souls, they fit into that definition of pure bhakti. Majority of us, 99.99% of us, don't fit there, right? We don't fit into that category. Then how do we understand these verses? Prabhupada gives this very famous analogy in his small books and in his classes as well. He gives this example of somebody suffering from jaundice. When we have jaundice and we take sugarcane juice, that sugarcane juice is very bitter. But then people around us who don't have the disease, they keep reminding us, no, the sugarcane juice is sweet. You please take, please take. Then what we do, even though we don't experience the sweetness, we place intellectual faith in the people who don't have the disease and we continue drinking. And when we do that, our disease goes down and the sweetness of sugarcane we are able to relish, right? Similar is the process with bhakti as well, right? Acharyas take it up as their responsibility to constantly remind us that bhakti is sweet, bhakti is joyful, Harinam is sweet, hearing the Harikatha is very, very sweet. We have to place our intellectual faith in the Acharyas and continue bhakti even though we don't experience those symptoms at this stage. Because eventually we will do that, right? For example, here Prahlad Maharaj is saying, the secondary effect of bhakti is, when somebody hears Harikatha, they become so absorbed that their senses are controlled. They become oblivious to the needs of the senses. Now, this is not relatable for us, right? If this class goes even 5-10 minutes beyond 9:45 or 10 o'clock, we will all become restless due to hunger, right? Recently, I remember I was giving a Bhishma Panchak class. It was a home program. And it was on the Kartik Purnima, the last day of Bhishma Panchak in the evening. And we sat down, we were discussing Bhishma Stuti. We were going verse by verse, discussing the verse, the translation, and discussing the meaning, and then going to the next verse. So covering all 12 verses like this. So when I started the Katha, and I gave the context, and we started with the first few verses, everybody were enthusiastic. They were looking at me eagerly, and I could see that sense of enthusiasm. Suddenly, at some point in the Katha, I saw the expressions change. And then I realized the moon had risen, right? It was fast breaking time. And then the expressions changed, and everybody were looking at me so desperately out of hunger. I felt if I don't stop now, they will tear me apart and they might eat me also. So I told them, don't worry, please, we'll wind up very quickly, right? We'll finish it soon. So in this way, it's very difficult for us to perceive that how can we be so absorbed in Harikatha that we no longer have the needs of the senses, we become oblivious to it. Now the answer to that is in seeing who was the instrument for giving Bhagavatam to us. How did we get Bhagavatam? Who was the instrument? Narada Muni. He gave to whom? Vedavyas. But we didn't hear from Vyasadeva, right? Whom did we get it from? Prabhupada. Prabhupada gave the translation and purport. But it was Sukadeva Goswami. And he told it to whom? Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj went to the banks of Ganga and he heard, and that is why we got Bhagavatam, right? Now the question is, if you look at Parikshit Maharaj's life, why did he get cursed that he will die in 7 days? He put the snake on Shamika Rishi's shoulder, a dead snake. Why did he put the snake? Because he was thirsty. He was so thirsty that he couldn't control his thirst, and he put the snake on Shamika Muni's shoulder. But that same Parikshit Maharaj, when Sukadeva Goswami was speaking Bhagavatam, for 7 days and 7 nights, did not eat one morsel of grain, did not drink one drop of water. Sukadeva Goswami himself, in the 10th canto, 13th chapter, asked Parikshit Maharaj, what is this? Are you not hungry? It's been 5 days so far. You have 2 more days to grow. You did not eat, you did not sleep, you did not drink water. Are you not thirsty? Are you not hungry? What is happening? And Parikshit Maharaj tells him, Vayam hi danyatama loke guropi kshatra bandhava Vayam piba muhuttatva punyam krishna katamratam. He tells Sukadeva Goswami, who says that I am not drinking, I am not eating, right? Vayam hi dhanyatama loke. So there is Danya, means fortunate. Danyatara means more fortunate. And Danyatama means most fortunate. I am the most fortunate in the entire creation because sitting at your lotus feet, I'm able to drink Vayam Piba Muhuttatva. I'm drinking this nectar of Punyam Krishna Katamratam. This nectar of Harikatha I'm drinking. And that is nourishing me so much that I am not having the desire for, eating, drinking, and all of that, right? So, here we see example of how somebody can be so attracted, absorbed in Harikatha that they don't feel the need of, giving in to the senses as such, right? But we don't have that absorption. All our absorption, instead of Harikatha, our absorption is in the dualities of this material world, right? We know this material world is a place of dualities. There's happiness, sadness, right? And people, or all of us in this material world, we spend all our life going from one state of duality to the other, right? If somebody is ugly, they make the goal of their life to become beautiful, to become fit, right? To become handsome or pretty, whatever. If somebody is poor, they make the entire goal of their existence to become rich. If somebody is in maybe a third world nation, Bangladesh, Nepal, or India as well, they want to go to the US, Australia, and those places, right? They want to make their circumstances better. So constantly we are trying to see how can we make our material situation better, right? But we fail to realize that in every situation in this material world, there is misery. Krishna has mentioned Dukkalayam, Ashashvatam. And in a place that is Dukkalayam, if you are trying to find happiness, then that is illusion, right? So in English, there's a saying, uneasy is the head that wears the crown, which means people who don't have the crown, they desire, oh, I need the crown, I want the crown on my head. And they strive very hard for that power, for that position. But once they get the crown, they have another fear, that for the sake of the crown, somebody will cut my head, right? So they have even more fear. So in every place, there is misery, there is trouble, right? But we constantly try to go after these material pursuits, become absorbed in them. And we think we spend our entire life in these pursuits. Somehow, miraculously, at the end of life, we will think about the Lord and go back home back to Godhead in this lifetime itself. Right? It's a very common phrase in Iskcon, at least. Even a small child will say, what is the goal of your life? Go back home back to Godhead. Right? But we don't realize the depth of this phrase, how serious it is, right? Shankaracharya, he warns us that if we develop these tendencies for too long, and if we don't correct these tendencies right away, immediately, then it is very, very dangerous because these material tendencies become stronger with time, right? He says, Angam galitam palitam mundam dashanavihina najatana tundam vruddho yati grahitva dandam tadapi na munchati asha pindam. So he says, that with age, everything reduces. Our eyesight, our hair, our teeth, our bodily beauty, strength in our limbs, everything goes down. There is only one thing that increases exponentially with time, and that is the material desires, the material ambitions, the material tendencies that we develop that become stronger and stronger and stronger with time, right? Once there was a sculptor, Shilpakari, who makes statues, right? Somehow he got to know his time has come to an end. Yamaraj is going to come, right, very soon. So the sculptor was thinking, how can I escape death? Like any of us would do, right? So what he did what he's best at, right? He's best at making statues. So he made 12 statues, 11 statues, which were exactly like him in the standing position, ditto like him. And very nicely he carved the statues, right? And then Yamaraj came there. And when Yamaraj came, he got the shock of his life because he came to take one soul, one person. But here 12 people are standing and they all look exactly similar. And Yamaraj is thinking, now how do I make out the difference, right? What to do? Then Yamaraj thinks and Yamaraj starts speaking. He says, you know, it's okay. I came for a particular reason, that's fine. But I don't know who made these statues, but these statues are horrible. They are disgusting. You know, the nose is disaligned. The eyes are not in a straight line, right? The face is distorted. The hands, one shoulder is up, one shoulder is down. This is the worst statue I've ever seen in my life. He was going on like this. At one point, one of the 12 statues, it started shouting, it started yelling, "Hey, Yamaraj, you do whatever you want with me, but don't you dare talk about my art like this. If you talk about my work like this, you know, I will not spare you." He started shouting. Then Yamaraj said, "This is the rascal. Come take him, right? We'll take him away, right?" So what happened? This man, throughout his life, he developed pride for his work, for his art, right? And he didn't realize that, but it kept getting accumulated. And Yamaraj used that same pride as an instrument for his death, for this man's, death, and he took him away. Same is the case with us as well, right? We don't realize these small anarthas, tendencies that we garner, but these actually come back and hit us, right, at some point. Now, the problem is these tendencies, when we come into spiritual life, we bring the same material ambitions into spiritual life also. We just give a spiritual flavor to it, right? We spiritualize our desires, material desires, but it's still materialistic only, right? We think, oh, pure bhakti is such a lofty destination and it's difficult for me to get there. So let me just be comfortable in getting some position, right? Bhakti Vriksha leader, sector servant, temple president, GBC head. Let me just try to get that. Or let me just be recognized as a good preacher, good kirtaniya, right? Good garland maker, good cook. I'll be happy in this, that's all. I don't want all of that, right? But when we do bhajan for these sort of temporary ambitions, then that is like such a waste of our, opportunity that we have got, right? So bhakti should always be performed purely for only one reason, samsiddhir haritoshanam, right? To give pleasure to the Lord. And when we are able to do that, naturally all the other things will come by its own. Everybody will get attracted, we'll get glorification, everything will happen, right? In Akbar's Darbar, there was one singer called Tansen, very famous, we've all heard. Tansen was a wonderful singer, and with his rag, he used to defy all the laws of physics, right? He used to sing one rag and it would rain. He would sing another rag and he would light lamps, right? He would make miracles happen just by singing different ragas. So Akbar, he once approached Tansen and he said, "I am so happy with you, I am so pleased with you, right? And your singing is so exquisite, and I keep giving you so many rewards. But I want to know, if you sing so well, then what about your guru? How much nicely he should be singing? I want to hear your guru singing as well. Can you tell me who is your guru and how can I hear him?" Tansen says, "My guru is Haridas, but he will not come here and sing in the palace, right? He's like a cuckoo bird. A cuckoo bird doesn't sing in public places, right? It goes deep in the nature. When the sun is rising on a spring day, it will sing, aligned with the nature. It will not sing whenever we want or whenever it wants, right? So he says, Haridas will not come here. He will not sing for you. If you want to hear my guru sing, you have to go to the banks of Yamuna at 3:30 a.m. in the morning. My guru will come there to take bath, and after that he will sing, and you can listen, you can hear him sing." So Akbar decided, okay, let me try this out. Next day he goes with his army, with his troop. He hides in the Kunja of Yamuna, early in the morning, 2:30 only he goes, and he's hiding in the grooves, waiting for Haridas to come. And in that peaceful setting, Haridas walks in, and he takes bath in the Yamuna, and he sits there, and he starts singing. He starts glorifying, he starts offering prayers to the Lord. And hearing Haridas sing, Akbar feels he's getting melted and he's getting fallen. He's going away, right? He gets so absorbed in that singing, he never realizes how 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour passes away. It was so exquisite. Then Akbar comes back to Tansen, comes back to the palace, and he tells Tansen, you know, I heard your guru sing, and I'm sorry to tell you, you might get offended, but your guru's singing is so exquisite that your singing is nothing compared to him. But can you tell me why this difference? You also sing the same rag, your guru also sings the same rag. Then why when he sings, I completely melted, but when you sing, I just become passionate or I become happy. I don't get the same effect. Why is this happening? Tansen said, it is because I sing for a king and my guru sings for Krishna, who's the king of Vrindavan, right? That is why when he sings, naturally everybody gets attracted. But when I sing, I only get some material benedictions, right? So this is the understanding that we all should have, right? When we do our seva, when we do it in a way that it gives pleasure to the Lord, naturally everything, all the byproducts come, right? But when we do it for a specific purpose, then we are not getting the best bargain out of bhakti, right? Now, how do we do it, right? How do we perform this pure devotional service? We discussed pure devotion is too lofty, not able to get there. We should hear from the acharyas about how to do it and slowly practice it, right? Like Rupa Goswami says, there are 6 ways, 6 practices to perform by which we can nourish our bhakti, even at the sadhaka stage, right? And it is utsaha, nishchaya, dhairyad, tattat karma, pravartanat, sangatyago, sato vrittir, shadbhir bhaktir, prasiddhati. 6 aspects which nourish our bhakti. First one is utsaha, enthusiasm. Second one is nishchaya, or determination or confidence. Third is utsaha, nishchaya, dhairyat, patience. Fourth is tat karma pravartanat, performing duties or performing activities which take us closer to the Lord. Fifth is sangatyaga, giving up association of materialistic people. And sixth is satovriti, which means associating with pure devotees of the Lord and hearing from them and following in their footsteps. That is satovriti. Rupa Goswami says 6 aspects by which we can nourish our bhakti. But then out of all of these 6 aspects, the 6th one is the most important, satovriti, right? Associating with pure devotees and, hearing from them. And we also experience this, right? When we are in a group of devotees, when we are in a yatra, when we are in a sangha, it's very easy for us to perform bhakti. Very easy for us to fake being pure devotee, imitate being a pure devotee, right? This class, for example, all of you are sitting and hearing very nicely, right? We are sitting in one place calmly, we are hearing. Imagine if this was over Zoom and the videos were off. Some of us would be in our bed, nicely covered in the blanket. Others would be maybe cooking in the kitchen. Somebody else might be driving, right? Somebody else might be talking on the phone, right? How many of us would peacefully sit like this and continue hearing Bhagavatam even if we were alone in our homes right now, right? It's very easy to practice bhakti in Sangha, Satovriti, right? But another reason why Satovriti is the most important is, Rupa Goswami says, just by having this one Anga, all the other 5 Anga automatically come. If we approach a pure Vaishnava, hear from them and try to follow their instructions, follow their footsteps, we get utsaha, we get nishchaya, we get dhairya, we get tattat karma pravartanat, and we also get sangatyaga. All of these come by its own. Right? All we have to do is satovriti. Right? This is the most important part. Now, and that is why so much of importance is given to association of devotees as well. Right? In Chaitanya Charitamrita it is mentioned, Krishna Janma Bhakti Mula Hoya Sadhu Sangha Krishna Prema Janme Tenho Punaha Mukhyanga. The cause of Krishna Bhakti to appear in our heart is Sadhu Sangha. And it's not just that when I'm a sadhaka, I need Krishna, devotees of Krishna to come and give me bhakti, right? It's not just in the beginning. Even when somebody attains perfection, Krishna Prema Janme Tenho Punaha Mukhyanga. Even after attaining Krishna Prema, the perfection, Sadhu Sangha is still the most important Anga, the most important limb, right? So it is extremely important. So we see liberated personalities like the 4 Kumaras, and they went to Vaikuntha. In the 3rd canto, we see this description. They crossed 6 gates, and the 7th gate, they are stopped. Each of those 6 gates represents 6 anarthas. Like when we go into the mall and we are scanned for our anarthas, right? We are scanned for metals, many metal detector, and it beeps if we have anything. So those 6 gates are like detectors of anarthas. Each gate detects one anartha of the 6 anarthas. And only when somebody is free of these anarthas, they can cross 6 gates. But the 7th gate represents prema, love for the Lord. And only when somebody has prema, they can cross that and have darshan of the Lord. Now these 4 Kumaras, they did not have love. They had sense control, they had complete freedom of all anarthas, but they did not have prema for Lord because they had impersonal realization of the Lord. Right? They thought Lord is like Nirakara Brahma. So they could not cross the 7th gate. And eventually, Jai Vijay stopped them, and that conversation happens, cursing happens, all of that happens. But then we know that 4 Kumaras saw the Lord. They had darshan of the Lord. Lord spoke to them. Right? They interacted with the Lord. How did this happen? If they did not have love for the Lord, how did they get darshan of the Lord face to face? And the answer to this question is given in 3rd canto, 15th chapter, 43rd verse, where it is mentioned, Tasyaravindanayana padarvindam kinjalkamishra tulasimakaranda vayuhu antargatasvavivarena chakaratesham sanshobhamaksharajushamapi chittatanvo. So it is mentioned, Tasyaravindanayana padarvindam. In the lotus feet of the lotus-eyed Lord, there was a tulasi leaf. And before the Lord could come, Kinjalka Mishra Tulasi Makaranda Vayuhu. In the air, the fragrance, spiritual fragrance of Tulasi Devi got merged with the air, and that entered the nostrils. Antargata Swavivarena Chakara Tesham. It entered the nostrils of the 4 Kumaras, and their chitta and mana, their body and their mind, it got completely transformed. Right? And not just that, their Akshara Jusham, the impersonal realization that they had, it broke. And they got pure devotional service just by the fragrance of Tulsi Maharani. And they got converted into devotees. And that is when they could see the Lord face to face. Right? So even devotees of the stature of Chatur Kumaras, for them to see the Lord, they need an agent. They need a devotee of the Lord, pure devotee of the Lord like Tulsi Maharani. And what to speak of all of us, right? So today, we'll try to speak in the next few minutes about the topmost devotees of the Lord who were completely absorbed in Krishna. Like we see Prahlad Maharaj gives the description here. They were completely absorbed. And who are these topmost devotees of the Lord? Amongst all the devotees, Gopis in Vrindavan, right? Krishna tells to Arjuna, Trailoke prativim dhanya tatra vrindavane puri tatrakta gopika partha tatra radha bidamama. He says, Trailoke, in all 3 worlds, Trailoke prativim dhanya. Earth is the most glorious in all the planetary systems, all the worlds. Within Earth, there are so many countries, so many cities, so many places. Tatra vrindavane puri. Vrindavan is the most glorious. And within Vrindavan, there are so many Vrajavasis. Tatraktu Gopika Partha. Amongst all the Vrajavasis, the Gopis, Vrajavadus, they are most glorious. And amongst all the millions of Gopis, Tatra Radha Vidamama. Srimati Radharani is the most glorious. Now, we'll try to discuss, how much love and absorption these Gopis had for Krishna. But their absorption to Krishna is the topmost, it's the pinnacle. It cannot go beyond a limit, but it does go beyond all imaginable limits when they experience Vipralamba Bhav, when they experience loving separation from Krishna. When Krishna gets separated from them, all the bhav that they have gets magnified infinite times. It's already infinite, again you multiply it by infinity. That's how it becomes, right? It is mentioned, the analogy is given, that let's say there is a forest fire, right? And huge gush of wind comes. What happens to the forest fire? It becomes even more. And let's say there is a small lamp and there's a gush of wind. What happens to that lamp? It burns off, right? So, our love towards Krishna is like the lamp. Small gush of the wind of separation from him. We come into this material world, get separated from the Lord. Our love for Krishna is gone. It becomes dormant. But Gopi's love for Krishna is like that forest fire. When the wind of separation hits, their love becomes even more. It magnifies even more, right? So we'll try to hear how their separation became intense, right? This is briefly explained in the 10th canto, 36th chapter by Sukadeva Goswami, right? Krishna is performing his Vrindavan Leela. One after one, he's killing all the demons. Finally, he kills the Keshi demon. After that, Narada Muni comes to Krishna. And he gives him a warning. He tells him, Krishna, you are spending all your time playing childish games with the Gopas. Do you remember why you came here? Right? You told big things, Dharma Samsthapanarthaya, all of that, and you're eating dirt here in the Goshala of Vrindavan. What are you doing? Your parents are suffering there. Why don't you go and help them? Krishna looks at Narada and he says, yes, Narada, you're right. I should do that. I'll go help them. Then Narada Muni goes away, thinking I've convinced Krishna. Then when Gopa comes there and he tells Krishna, Krishna, come, let's play. Krishna looks into the eye of the Gopa and he forgets everything. And Krishna is like, fine, let's go play. And everything is lost. Now Narada Muni is thinking, oh my God, what to do? Right? Krishna is not at all listening. Generally, devotees have a very strong influence on the Lord. Right? Harishauri in his Bhakti Rasayanam, he mentions Manigriva and Nalakubera, the two Yamalarjuna trees, who got liberated because Krishna took that grinding motor and uprooted them and liberated them. Bhagavatam says they got liberated by the mercy of Krishna. And they also offer prayers to Krishna. Thank you for liberating us from this curse. But Harishauri says, the devotee's perspective is, it was not Krishna who liberated them. It was not Krishna's mercy. It was Yashoda Maiya's mercy. Right? Because those Yamalarjuna trees have been in Vrindavan for all those years, 5 years. Krishna never cared to look at them, never even cared that they existed. Suddenly he realized that they are standing and they are bound. Why? Because that Lord, who is never bound, got bound by Mother Yashoda. Right? In the Chaurashtakam, Bilva Mangal Thakur says, Chinatsi yogam yamapasha bandam, Meenatsi mimam bhavapasha bandam, Chinatsi sarvasya samasta bandam, Naivatmano bhakta kritam tu bandam. So, Chinatsi goram yamapasha bandam. Krishna does not get bound by the yamapasha, by the noose of Yamaraj. He does not get bound by this material world. He is the one who liberates everybody in this material world from material bondage. But that Krishna, Naivatmano bhakta kritam tu bandam. When his devotee binds him, he cannot liberate himself. When Yashoda Maya bound him with the ropes of love, Nanda Maharaj had to come and free him. He could not free himself. Right? So when Krishna was bound, he thought, oh my God, being bound like this is very restrictive. It is not nice. Right? You can't play, you can't eat, you can't do anything. And then he thought, if by being bound just for a few seconds, I'm feeling so bad, Papa, these souls have been bound for so many years, let me go liberate them. And then he went and he liberated them. So their liberation was actually according to the mercy of Yashoda Maya. So devotees have a strong influence on Krishna. Narada Muni, by his words, he controlled the mind of Krishna. Narada Muni gave a benediction to Arjuna trees, to Nalakubera and Manigriva, that you will get liberated by the Lord. And Krishna in his Vrindavan Leela, he stopped that. He remembered Narada Muni's words and he went in and he saved them. So, Narada Muni influenced Krishna's mind. Narada Muni's words influenced Krishna's mind. And Yashoda Maya's service, her actions influenced Krishna's body. She completely bound his body, right? So Krishna is completely helplessly influenced by devotees like this. Every day in the morning when Yashoda Maya comes and wakes up Krishna, Krishna, come, get up, time to go out to the forest and play. Krishna can't say, hey Yashoda Maya, I am the supreme personality of Godhead. You can't wake me up like this. Do Suprabhatam, wake me up slowly. You can't do this. He can't say that. Yashoda Maya says, wake up, he has to wake up. Krishna is actually called Surya Vamshi. Although he's born in the family of Chandra Vamsha, he's born in the dynasty of the moon, he's a Surya Vamshi because he has a lot of respect and regard for the sun. In the sense that he never wakes up before the sun. He will only wake up after the sun has risen and he's high in the sky, then Krishna will wake up, right? So there is no concept of Mangalarti for Krishna. Even today in Banke Bihari, Mangalarti happens at 8:39 a.m., not at 4:30, right? So, but when Yashoda Maya says get up, he has to get up. In the Kurukshetra war, battlefield, when Arjuna kicks on the right, Krishna has to go to the right. When Arjuna kicks on the left, Krishna has to go to the left. He has to obey Arjuna's order. Arjuna says, take me to the middle of the two armies. Krishna has to do that. Krishna cannot say, hey, I am the supreme personality of Godhead. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. I can't listen to you like this. You will tell me, take here, take there, take me in the middle, and then you will get bewildered. And then I have to chant 700 slokas to get you out of the bewilderment. I can't go through all of that again. I will not do. Krishna doesn't say that. He helplessly follows because he's influenced by the devotees. But here in Vrindavan, Narada Muni got to know his influence is negligible compared to the influence of Rajavasis. So he has to do something, right? Then Narada Muni makes a master plan. He takes the back route. He goes to Kamsa and he tells Kamsa, Hey fool, you are searching for this eighth son of Vasudeva and Devaki, and you are thinking he doesn't exist. But Vasudeva actually secretly took him to Nanda Maharaj's place, and that person is called Krishna, and he's growing up in Vrindavan, and he's becoming ready to kill you. Kamsa got so angry, he took his sword, he walked towards the prison. I will kill my brother-in-law and my sister. Narada Muni thought, oh, this plan is backfiring. Then he stops Kamsa and he says, wait, don't do that. You know what? If you go to the prison and kill your sister and brother-in-law right now, Krishna will get to know that you have understood his plan. Krishna will realize that all these while you kept them in the prison, now suddenly you kill them. Now Krishna will realize you know, and he will become scared, he will become alert, and he will run away. And you will struggle even more to find Krishna. So don't do that. Instead, you organize a Dhanur Yajna, you organize a festival, and you invite Krishna to come here. Let him come here and meet you, and you fight with him, and you easily kill him. Right? Narada Muni tells this. And Kamsa likes this idea a lot. He's completely sold to this idea. He thinks I will have home ground advantage. Right? This is my turf. Right? I have powerful wrestlers, Chanura, Mushtika. I have trained elephants like Kuvalaya Pida. I have my entire army. We will all crush this small boy to death. So he then thinks, okay, I'll send the invitation to everybody. I'll perform this Dhanur Yajna to celebrate the bow, right? That he had. So then he thinks, I'll invite everybody, but if I call Krishna, he might not come. So he goes and he asks his minister to go invite Krishna. Who was this minister? Akrura. And Akrura was the uncle of Krishna. He was a devotee of Krishna. He was actually the cousin of Vasudeva. And he was a great Kshatriya prince. He was a warrior, right? Who was serving Kamsa at that time. So Kamsa tells Akrura, go to Vrindavan, invite Krishna to come. And he gives a new chariot to Akrura. Now Akrura sits in the chariot and he goes. And all along in that chariot, Akrura is thinking, I am going to give an invitation, but this is not an invitation for Dhanur Yajna. This is an invitation for cold-blooded murder. Kamsa is going to murder Krishna. And I hope Krishna will realize that although I come with this, bad motive, bad intent, but actually in my heart, I am his devotee. I don't mean harm for him. I hope Krishna will realize that. So Akrura is meditating on this constantly all along the way. And Akrura is thinking, when I finally meet Krishna, how will he interact with me? How will he receive me? Will he smile upon me? Will he embrace me? Right? Will he, offer a garland to me? Will he take care of me nicely? Will he give me sweet words? He's constantly meditating on this, right? And then when he goes ahead, he reaches Vrindavan and he sees the footprints of Krishna. And Vrindavan, wherever Krishna's footprints are there, nobody steps on it. That is a thumb rule. So he sees the footprint, and Akrura jumps from the chariot and offers obeisances, Dandavat Pranam to the footprint. And he rolls in the dust of Vraja. And he offers Abhishekam to that footprint with his tears, right? So he gets completely engrossed, absorbed like this. And somehow he pulls him together, gets back on the chariot, and goes to Vrindavan. And he sees Krishna and Balaram are waiting there. And Akrura made so many plans. When I get down, I will go down like this. I will stand respectfully. I will see how Krishna reciprocates with me. Accordingly, I will deal with him. So many things he makes plan. But the moment he sees Krishna, he forgets everything, jumps from the chariot and falls at the feet of Krishna and holds his feet. Now, materially speaking, he is the uncle. He is elder. Krishna should touch Akrura's feet. But Akrura touched Krishna's feet, completely forgot social etiquette, and he tightly held on to Krishna's feet. Krishna picked him up, embraced him, and took him home. Krishna Balaram took him to Nanda Bhavan, gave him nice prasadam, offered him a nice seat, and asked him, why did you come? Akrura said, I have come to give you this invitation for the Dhanur Yajna, but actually, Kamsa wants to kill you. He wants to call you here and he wants to kill you with these powerful warriors who have never been defeated. They look like mountain. They are very, very strong. Akrura goes on describing them. Krishna and Balaram hear all of this and they start laughing. And Akrura thinks, oh my God, same thing that happened with Narada Muni. That seems to be happening with me. I am telling Krishna something, but he's not taking it seriously. What can I do that Krishna takes it seriously? Then Akrura uses the Brahmastra. He tells, you know what? Kamsa has got to know the secret of your birth, of your appearance. Kamsa has got to know that your father has kept you here. And he is torturing your parents. And your parents have become old now. They are not able to bear this torture anymore. Any moment they will give up their body and they will die. For their sake, you have to come. They lost 6 children, one after the other for you. The 7th appeared as a miscarriage. In front of their eyes, they saw their babies get smashed on the rock and get killed. They've undergone so much tribulation. Now it is time for you to come and, give them finally that long-lasting peace and liberation. You should come. Krishna and Balaram become very serious. They say, yes, we should go now. They go to Nanda Maharaj, then they tell, let's all go. We've got this invitation. They just tell Nanda Maharaj about Dhanuri Yajna, not about anything else. So Nanda Maharaj becomes ready. He becomes ready to go. And they start making arrangements, take all the milk products, gifts, and all of that they put on the bullock carts. Slowly the word reaches the gopis of Vrindavan. They all get to know about this, that Krishna is leaving. And they call for an urgent meeting. Right? They have a gopis association. And instantly they all come together. They gather at a place. It was orchestrated by Vrinda Devi. And they all come there. That whole night, gopis, they only discuss about Krishna. One gopi says, oh, our Krishna is just a small boy. He's facing such demons. What will happen to him? How will he face those demons? Another gopi says, you are actually speaking out of ignorance of love. Because don't you know what Krishna did to Putana? Vritrasur, Agasur, Dhenukasur, all of this, Shakatasur. What Krishna did to all of them? These demons are nothing. He will easily kill them. But there is another bigger problem. That bigger problem is that people in Mathura, when they see Krishna fighting the demons and killing them, they will get attracted. And the queens of Mathura are extremely beautiful and they are well educated. They are extremely qualified. If we, uneducated, illiterate gopis, cowherd girls, we can come together, form this association and make a strategy of how to stop Krishna. Imagine those educated corporate queens, if they come together and they devise a strategy to stop Krishna, how can Krishna come out, right? So it is very difficult. They will get attracted. Sarvam akarshati iti Krishna. He's the all attractive. They get attracted and he will never come back. This is the last we will see him. Until now, every day morning when Krishna went to the forest, we would wait, we would continue living, we would take breath in the hope that Krishna will come back in the evening, right? We'll see him again in the evening. But now when Krishna is going to Mathura, and we know that there's a risk that he will never come back to Vrindavan ever again, it is impossible for us to live. We cannot survive anymore, right? So gopis go on talking like this, one after the other. They give different reasons. They explain each other. They console each other. They do all of that. Towards the middle of the night, all the gopis stop talking. And they get so absorbed in Harikatha, in remembrance of Krishna. They exhibit the symptoms that Prahlad Maharaj mentions in this verse. Right? Some gopis are remembering the Tribhanga Deha Sundara, the Shama Sundar form of the Lord, threefold bending form of the Lord. Right? Some other gopis are meditating on the vision that they have of Krishna entering into the forest of Vrindavan. Right? This vision is explained in the Bhagavatam as well. Right? That when Krishna enters, he's wearing this dhoti, dark yellow dhoti, bright effulgent dhoti. He's wearing the Karnikara flowers. He's wearing Vaijayanti Mala garland, right? Barha Pidam Natavara Vapu Karnayo Karnikaram Bibrat Vasah Kanaka Kapisam Vaijayantim Chamalam Randranmeno Radara Sudaya Purayan Gopa Vrinder Vrindaranyam Swabadaramanam Pravishat Gita Kirti. So, this is the vision that the gopis had, and they are meditating on that vision. Some other gopis are meditating on the pastimes that Krishna had with them in the banks of Yamuna, exclusively with them. So, they're all immersed in these meditations. And Radharani is immersed in the meditation of Krishna's words to her. She's meditating on Krishna's words. And they all spend their time like this. Suddenly, one gopi comes and announces and breaks their meditation, saying, the sun has risen, Akrura has gone to Yamuna and he has taken his morning bath and the chariot is drawn and Krishna is about to leave. All the gopis, they get up. They forget all social etiquette. Until then, they were in locked rooms. They were expressing their bhava. But now they go out of the room. They go outside Nanda Bhavan and they wait there. And they have one hope that whatever Akrura says, whatever Nanda Maharaj says, Yashoda Maya will never let Krishna go. They have this strong faith. But then, Yashoda Maya, what she did initially, she hid Krishna in the sari. And when Nanda Maharaj came, she said, Krishna is not here. I can't send him. Nanda Maharaj said, hey, what are you talking? It's not just Akrura. I am also going. I promise you that I will come back only with Krishna. Right? I will take care. We are all going. Yashoda Maya, she tells Nanda Maharaj, I don't trust this Akrura. Right? Like the gopis say, his name is Akrura, but his name is illusion. Right? His name is very cheating. Because his name is Akrura, not cruel. But he's the personification of cruelty because he's separating us from Krishna. So they chastise him like that. So Yashoda Maya says, I have 0% trust on this minister of Kamsa. Only you I'm trusting and I'm sending my son. And if you don't come without him, then you see what will happen. Right? So she gives him to Nanda Maharaj. And the news spreads outside, the gopis who are standing out, that Yashoda Maya has agreed to send Krishna to Mathura. And they all loudly start, crying, they loudly start shouting. Yashoda Maya hears this. She comes out of Nanda Bhavan. But she doesn't come out as the mother of Krishna. She comes out as the queen of Vrindavan. She has a responsibility to console her citizens, to make them, to justify the reasons that the king, Nanda Maharaj, is taking. So she goes to them and she tells them, don't worry, Nanda Maharaj and all the Gopas are going. Krishna will come back for sure. Right? The gopis look at Yashoda Maya and they tell her, are you out of your mind and senses? How can you talk like this? Right? Krishna is like our tender small calf. And this Akrura is like a butcher. You are selling the small tender calf to the butcher and you are thinking the butcher will return him to us unharmed. How can you think like this? The butcher will surely kill the calf and eat that tender meat, right? They will not give Krishna back to us. How can you think like this? How can you be like this? And hearing this loving chastisement, Yashoda Maya started crying miserably. She also fell apart. And then Nanda Maharaj comes out and Akrura comes out, Krishna Balaram come out and they sit on the chariot and Akrura gets on the chariot. And all the gopis, they break all the gates, they rush into Nanda Bhavan and they hold the wheels tightly and they hold Krishna tightly and they look lovingly into Krishna's eyes and they say, Krishna, please don't leave us. Right? Seeing this love of gopis, Balaram and Akrura become unconscious. And Krishna gets drawn to their love. We know how Krishna gets influenced by his devotees. Without knowing what is happening, he got down from the chariot. Then the gopis took Krishna to the side in the grooves of a forest. And they told him, right, please don't go, please stay here. If you go, we will all become dead bodies. We'll not have any meaning, we'll not have any existence, right? Vrindavan is useless without you. For your sake, we made the forest as our home and our home became forest. Every time we used to come back to our homes, we used to feel that is renunciation. Every time we would go into the forest to do Ras Leela with you, we would feel this is our home. But without you, everything will become a forest. We can't live without you. Please don't go. And Krishna is bound by the gloves of Gopi. He's not even able to keep one step ahead, right? And then Akrura wakes up and he wakes up Balaram. Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Balaram says, I know how to find him. They follow the footprints. They go there. And then Akrura again reminds Krishna, Krishna, Vasudev, Devaki, did you forget? Please come, right? And then finally Krishna somehow manages and he says, yes, I have to go. I will return for sure, but I have to go now. Akrura thinks, okay, the mindset has changed. Let's quickly get him on the chariot. He brings the chariot there. He puts Krishna and Balaram on the chariot and he's about to leave. But the gopis again come, they tightly hold the wheel. Some of them lie in front of the wheel, thinking either we will stop the chariot or it will run over us and we will leave our body. But without Krishna, we will not live, right? So they cover everything like this tightly. And Krishna is getting attracted by them. He's again thinking to get down from the chariot. But this time Akrura holds him tightly and very expertly, very fast, Akrura drives the chariot forward. And he's navigating zigzag because the birds, the animals of Vraj, they are all lying on the road saying, we will not allow Krishna to pass, right? Rupa Goswami mentions, even Govardhan cried that day, right? And it didn't cry tears. Boulders started falling from Govardhan. And that boulders, that huge stones were the tears of Govardhan. Everybody were crying when Akrura was driving Krishna in the chariot. And half the people fell unconscious and they could not see anything. And those who were still conscious, they stood there on the path that led to Mathura and they kept looking at the chariot. After a while, they could only see the flag of the chariot. After a while, they could only see the dust particles that rose from the chariot. And finally, even when the last speck of dust from the chariot of Akrura settled down, the Rajavasis just stood there like a painting, lifeless. Right? They had no life left. And they were just there. But they continued to live after that. Why? Krishna promised, I will come back. Right? So they continue to live. Now, then what happens? We'll pace it up a little bit now. Nanda Maharaj comes back without Krishna because Krishna kills Kamsa and realizes, I can't go back. All these Jarasandha and Shishupal and all of them, they will attack. Right? I need an army. I can't go back to Vrindavan. So Krishna doesn't come back. He stays there. Nanda Maharaj comes back. Then the Rajavasis are not satisfied. They say, now we'll go. We'll get Krishna. We'll meet him. But then they get to know Krishna has gone to the Gurukula of Sandipani Muni. He is not in Mathura. And they say, what nonsense. Our Krishna has no need to learn anything. He knows how to milk a cow. He knows how to take care of the cattle. What more education is needed? Why should he go? But then he went to Gurukul and they waited. And then Krishna comes back from the Gurukul and he's getting desperate to meet the Rajavasis. And he sends Uddhav that, you go to Vrindavan and you tell them, give them my message that I'm coming. Right? Uddhava is a very special personality, right? Last few weeks, I think during Kartik month, we were discussing Uddhava Gita. Uddhava is described as Vrishninam Pravaro Mantri Krishnasya Daitasaka Sakshat Brahaspati Shishyo Uddhavo Buddhi Satam, right? He is Sakshat Brahaspati Shishyo. Why so much importance that he is disciple of Brahaspati? Because Brahaspati had a rule. I will not accept disciples who are below the grade of Devatas. Devatas is the lowest I can fall. Beyond them, I will not accept disciples. Uddhava was the only exception to that rule. Uddhava was the only human who was direct disciple of Brahaspati because he was so knowledgeable, so intelligent. And Uddhava thought, I will go to Vrindavan and I will give a Bhagavatam class and I will tell them, you foolish people, don't cry like this. Krishna is seated as Paramatma in our heart. You just meditate on that, be happy, be joyful, don't cry. I will give them a class and they'll become happy. So Uddhava is thinking like this, preparing notes in his mind, and he goes into Vrindavan. Then he meets the Gopas, then he meets Yashodamaya, Nanda Maharaj. And finally he meets Gopis. He meets the Gopis and he tells them, Gopis, you meditate on Krishna, you chant the holy names, meditate. Why are you crying like this? Hearing this, the Gopis say, Udho manana bhayo das bis, ek huto so gayo sham sange, ko avaradhai, udho manana bhayo das bis. So they say that, Udho manana bhayo das bis. We don't have 10 or 20 minds. Eka hutoso. We have only one mind. Gayo Shama Sange. That day when Sham Sundar sat on the chariot of Akrura and left, that one mind we had left with him. And to do meditation, to do manan, we need man. And we don't have man. How do you expect us to meditate? So we can't do it. Then Uddhav understood the depth of their devotion. He saw Radharani, he understood their depth. And he became a devotee. He got transformed. And he prayed to Brahma that make me a Gulmalata in Kusum Sarovar so that these gopis keep stamping on me, right? So all of this happened and gopis never met Krishna. There was 100 years of separation between gopis and Krishna. They never came back. Now one version of the Rath Yatra is they met Krishna in Kurukshetra during the Surya Grahan. But there is another version given. Krishna was in Dwaraka and he got high fever and he was chanting Radhe, Radhe, Radhe in Dwaraka. Narada Muni came there. And he told Uddhava and Balaram who were standing there, the only medicine is, I sing about Radharani, I sing about Vrindavan, and he will get up, he'll be fine. Balaram says, the problem is, he will get up. Then he will say, I have to go to Vrindavan. What do we do? And once he goes there and he sees how those people are, he will never come back. So Narada Muni says, very simple. When he gets up, you make the chariot ready, we'll take him to Vrindavan. And one of you, Uddhava, you go to Vrindavan, and you tell the Vrajavasis, don't cry, be normal, be happy. Krishna will come, he'll meet you for a while, he will go back. He has things to do. You align them. Uddhava says, sorry, Narada Muni, I have experience once. I cannot do that again. Then Narada Muni says, okay, Balaram, at least you go. You were in Vrindavan. Balaram says, I also got the experience. When the Kurukshetra Yuddha happened, Balaram went on Tirtha Yatras. He didn't participate in the war. In that Tirtha Yatra, he went to Vrindavan also. He stayed there for 3 months. And he saw the loving separation that the Vrajavasis are feeling. And he promised them, I will bring Krishna back in 1 month. And it has been many months and Krishna never came back. So Balaram said, if I go now, they will hit me with Govardhan pebbles, Govardhan shilas. So I can't go, Narada Muni, I'm too scared. Then Subhadra Mai comes there and she tells, all of you are selfish people. You are thinking about yourself. My brother is unconscious here. I have to go. I have to help. I will go. Uddhava and Balaram, they tell Subhadra Mai, you are speaking because you don't have experience, right? You have this enthusiasm because you have just started on this path. We have experienced it. Trust us, it will not work. Vrajavasis will not listen. Subhadra says, I have one extra X factor that you both did not have. And that is that I am a female. I am a girl. So I can go sit on the lap of Yashoda Maya, I can cry, I can console her, and I can tell her like a loving daughter that you please listen, right? So I'll go. Then when Subhadra Mai agrees, Balaram says, fine, I will also come with you. So first Balaram goes, sits on his chariot. Then Subhadra Mai goes, sits on her chariot. And then Narada Muni starts singing about gopis, about Radharani. Krishna wakes up and immediately says, Vrindavan, Vrindavan, I need to rush to Vrindavan. Uddhava and Narada Muni says, yes, the chariot is ready. Come. Daruka is sitting on the chariot ready. We'll take you. And one side Narada Muni is holding, one side Uddhava is holding, and they're trying to take Krishna. But Krishna is so intoxicated that he's moving around. He's hitting the walls. He's not able to stand straight. And they put him on the chariot, somehow. And then they take him to Vrindavan. And first, Balaram reaches, then Subhadra reaches, Then finally behind Krishna reaches. And when they reach, they get to know that all the Vrajavasis are in Nidhi 1 because Srimati Radharani has decided to give up her life. She is breathing her last. Srimati Radharani thought, enough is enough. Krishna is not coming back. I cannot live anymore. So in the dust of Nidhi 1, Srimati Radharani was lying down. Ashtasakis were surrounding her, and all the Vrajavasis were surrounding Radharani, and they were witnessing how Radharani was breathing her last. And Radharani gave up her life here. And then they saw, the Sakis saw that Balaram came. Then Subhadra came. Actually, Krishna has come. One of the Sakis, they go and they, in the year of Radharani, they say, Krishna has come. Right? Now, the life of Radharani is not like our life. It is not made of blood, pus, stool, urine. Her life is not based on heartbeat. Her life is based on Krishna Prema. Rupa Goswami says, Krishna Prema Mai Radha Radha Prema Mayo Hari Jivane Nidane Nityam Radha Krishna Gatir Mama. That Krishna, Radharani is Krishna Prema Mai Radha. She's completely, her existence is made out of Krishna Prema. And when she got to know that Krishna has returned, her life returned. And she woke up and she went and stood in front of them. And seeing the love of Radharani, Balaram and Subhadra's body transformed. Their hands went inside, their eyes became big, their shoulders merged in, and they took the form of Balabhadra and Subhadra. And finally, Krishna came. And when he saw Radharani face to face after 100 years, his body transformed. Right? He converted into Jagannath. And then Radharani held Krishna from the chariot, pulled him down, and they both sat on a asan. And the Ashtasakis performed arati for them. And Krishna was extremely happy with Radharani. And he told her, I have made you suffer a lot. You please ask me, how can I repay this debt? What can I do for you? Radharani told Krishna, I want a benediction. And the benediction is, all of Vrajavasis here today have seen your form when you have loving separation for us. When you are separated from Vrajavasis, you take the form of Jagannath. I want this form to be seen by everybody. Right? And Krishna says, sure Radharani, I'll fulfill your desire. I will come as Jagannath and give darshan to everybody so that they see my form when I'm separated from my devotees. But you asked for one benediction. I'll give you two benedictions. I will not just take a form which shows my loving separation for all of you, for Vrajavasis. I will also take another form which shows your loving separation for me. I will accept your Vipralamba Bhav, your Mahabhav, Radharani's Mahabhav, and I will come and I will display to the whole world what is the glory of your loving separation. Right? And what was this form? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Right? So Jagannath came, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. Right? And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, Krishna gave third promise to Radharani. He told, I will not just come with your loving separation and show to the whole world. I will freely distribute this prema that you have to everybody who comes in contact with me. Right? That is why in Chaitanya Charitamrita it is mentioned, Patra apatra vichara nahi stan astan, yena bhaya tanha kare Krishna prema dhan. Right? That Mahaprabhu did not do patra apatra vichara nahi. He did not see if somebody is qualified, somebody is unqualified, if this is the right time, this is not the right time. Freely he distributed Krishna prema. Golokera prema dana, Shri Harinam Sankirtan. Right? He gave the highest wealth of Goloka, the love that Radharani has for Krishna, which we discussed so long. He gave it freely to everybody. And devotees are like touchstones. Right? There was one disciple of Srila Prabhupada called Dhananjay Prabhu. He got the initiated name Dhananjay. And he thought, Prabhupada gave me this name Dhananjay, which means I have to accumulate wealth. So, which means my primary seva should be fund collection. So, I should go and raise funds. That's what he thought. And he went to Prabhupada and he said, Prabhupada, I have heard that Mount Meru has a lot of gold. Can you tell me where this is? I want to go get some gold for our temple. Right? Prabhupada says, you don't have to go to Mount Meru for that. We have touchstones inside this temple itself. And that is the Vaishnavas. And he said, they are not ordinary touchstones. Generally, a touchstone, whatever it touches, converts it to the gold, right? But Vaishnavas are those touchstones, whatever they touch, that also gets converted to another touchstone, which whoever comes in contact with it gets converted, gets value added to them, right? So that is the glory of Vaishnavas. So now Mahaprabhu gave Krishna Prema. He did not get all of it from Mahaprabhu, right? How many of us met Mahaprabhu or heard about Mahaprabhu before knowing Srila Prabhupada? It was very rare. We didn't know. Then how did we get it? By the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Nilakanta Goswami, in the 5th verse of Kevalashtakam, he says, Hari sada nivasedyatra tatra bhagavata jana gayanti bhakti bhavena Hare Nameva Kevalam. So Nilakanta Goswami says, Hari Sada Nivaset Tatra. Lord Hari is always there where his pure devotees, Bhagavata, Gayanti Bhakti Bhavena. When they sing, when they chant, when they discuss Hari Katha with absorption, Hari is always there. And the living embodiment, the living proof of that is Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada got instruction in 1922, go to the West and preach. 43 years he meditated on that instruction. He failed, but he still kept trying. 1965, he goes to the West. He lands in New York. He gets 2 heart attacks along the way. But when he gets down, he does not meet a cardiologist. He does not even know whether to go left or right. But he suffers there. He goes to the ghettos. He stays in those slums. He sleeps on park benches in New York. He suffers the winter of New York, right, 1965. And he's not having thermals, fleece, jacket, nothing. He's just in his sannyas robes. He's shivering in that cold. And he's suffering miserably. And one day he was sitting in his small avenue, 26th Avenue, matchless gift. One evening, he just got up. He took his drum, right? It wasn't even a mridanga. It was like a gondola drum that the hippies had. He took that drum. He went to a nearby park. He sat under a tree and he started singing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. He started doing kirtan. And all the hippies there, some saw that there is deep absorption in this old sadhu. So they went. Some thought some music is happening, let's just go dance, enjoy. But a group formed there, a mob formed there, and they all did Sankirtan. Next day, in New York Times and all the publications, there was an article that the sadhu from the east has arrived. And he's doing this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Right? So that happened in 1966. Couple of months ago, I was just having a conversation with His Holiness Bhakti Vinod Swami Maharaj, and Maharaj was explaining. Couple of months ago, Maharaj had gone to New York, and every time he goes to New York, the devotees in the New York Bhakti Center, they take him to this Tompkins Square Park, and they take him to this tree, and on the tree there is a board written, and there's a board mentioned which says, here is where Swami Prabhupada came and for the first time performed congregational chanting of the holy names, and he formally started the Sankirtan Yajna, right? Krishna consciousness movement. And it is, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is written there, right? And Maharaj was saying how so many devotees, so many people, they come in dhoti kurta, they circumambulate the tree, they offer obeisances to that tree, right? Now imagine the glory of Prabhupada. He left Vrindavan. He went to the most hellish place on this planet, the ghettos, the slums of New York, and he converted that place into a dham. That place has become worshipable for devotees. The devotees go there and they offer their obeisances to a tree, right? This is what a pure devotee can do. And Prabhupada has broken down the lofty goal of Krishna Prema into very small, tangible steps that we all can perform. 16 rounds, regulative principles, Sunday feast program, DT Seva. He has given us a roadmap. Everything is given to us. We just follow this and slowly, gradually perform our sadhana bhakti, right? The perfect sadhana bhakti is not about perfection. Sadhana bhakti is about consistency, right? It is not nice if a sadhaka is like Haridas Thakur on one day and then he is like Ajamila on the next day. That is not nice. We have to make small, consistent progress day after day. That is why we have Shiksha ceremonies, right? To have that culture of celebrating commitment to make progress. That is what Shiksha ceremony is all about, right? So if we can have that commitment in Satovritti, in the association of Vaishnavas, if we can follow the path that Prabhupada has shown to us, then all these symptoms that Prahlad Maharaj is talking about, pure devotional service, undoubtedly it will get manifested in us as well, by the mercy and power of Srila Prabhupada. Right? So we'll stop here. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I don't know if there are announcements. I hope there are no questions. And I don't think there's time as well. So. Okay. Do we know, Prabhu, if we have Gopi Geet and all of that today? We have Gopi Geet, right? Okay. So we'll all do Gopi Geet and offer prayers to the deities, and then we'll go for the prasadam. Thank you so much for patiently hearing, and please forgive me for all the offenses I would have committed. Okay? Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hello, chick. Hello. Hello, check, check, hello, check.
Hare Krishna, I think
Hello, check, hello,
Sri Sri
hello.
Gandharvika Giridhari,
Hare
Sri
Krishna,
Chaitanya
Hare
Mahaprabhu
Krishna,
will not
Hare Krishna.
or will not forgive us if we don't really thank His Grace Shankapani Achyut Prabhu for this such a mesmerizing class he is given today. So let us chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra for Prabhu and his family's spiritual progress and shower upon us that always he can give us this kind of mercy, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. He took us to Vrindavan, he took us to Goloka Vrindavan, he took us everywhere around. Finally, he brought us here back to sing the Gopi Geet for the pleasure of their lordships. Prabhu, thank you so much for your amazing class, Prabhu, as always. Thank you. Okay, Hare Krishna.